Hello and welcome to Voices of Victory podcast. I am your host, Mario De Leone, and today is this short form YouTube video on embracing fear as a path to growth. Let's get down to business right away. The first thing we want to understand is that when you're dealing with change, you have to acknowledge persistent discomfort. You're going to have discomfort as you're trying to make changes in your life. Nervousness, self doubt, and imposter syndrome may persist even as you grow. When you are recognizing these feelings as signs of boundary pushing, well, that reduces their power to paralyze you. So recognize those tiny little bouts of pushing your boundaries on the edge of discomfort. The nature of fear and comfort zones. Well, fear arises when we naturally step out of our comfort zones because our brains are wired to protect us. Simple as that. The This is an internal alarm for us. It signals unfamiliar territory and it marks the edge of potential growth. It's like that line between love and hate, you know. You love being comfortable and you hate being uncomfortable, but there's growth within that discomfort, and you got to gradually move into that discomfort. For some people can go all the way. They could dive in the swimming pool. They could do that. Great. Not everybody could do that. Some people are the exception and not the rule. Now, emotional resistance does come up quite frequently. And the bigger the step, the more the emotional resistance. When you do things too hard, too much, too quick, too fast, too soon, more emotional resistance will come up. So it's so important for you to realize that when you're making changes and stepping out of your comfort zone, you can be very gradual, but you have to be consistent. It is a continuous journey of learning. Growth is a lifelong process requiring ongoing discomfort and learning. Leaning into your discomfort is the price of admission to continuous evolution. That's so crucial. We have to take a look at our fear and reframe what it means. We reframe fear as a growth signal. Instead of seeing fear as a barrier, we got to view it as a compass that we're heading towards the right opportunities and leveling ourselves up. So when you are feeling uncomfortable, this is a sign of progress, not failure. And that's the thing. People that have high anxiety, they look at discomfort or being uncomfortable as they want to stay where they are. But here's the thing, the people with anxiety that want to stay where they are, they will live a life of default, meaning that they will default to their old traditional habitual ways. Stubbornness has a cost. It could cost them time, relationships, career, creative endeavors, all kinds of different things. So you got to keep that in mind that if you want change, and that's what this channel is all about, if you want change, you're going to have to reframe that fear as a signal of growth. You have to be able to embrace that nervous energy. I like to say, turn that nervous energy into excitement. I have a very good friend. He gets nervous about like a new job or something new. And I said, channel it into excitement. Turn that nervousness into positive butterflies. Very important. Get excited and breathe deep, for crying out loud. The people that are nervous, they never use their lungs to a full capacity. Anxiety doesn't require full oxygen. I want to make that so clear scientifically. Anxiety does not require a full lung capacity. It requires rapid breathing. Just remember that. It's your physiology trying to tell you something. You're going to be starting new phases or challenges, and that will always bring some nervous excitement. That's what I call it. Bring yourself to the excitement side of that. Embracing this energy creates space for new skills, achievements, and of course, self assurance. Now, the final takeaway from all this is you got to lean into that discomfort. I call it emotional yoga. You're stretching gently into that discomfort zone. Fear signals growth and opportunity. Embrace the discomfort to unlock your potential and live a life of continuous learning and, of course, evolution. So, the key insights on fear and growth is that fear is not the enemy, stagnation is. You want to destroy your life and stay put? Stagnation is the key to that. And that's what I want to bring to the table. You want to live by default? Stagnation will be a part of that. The next key point to recap is why growth requires discomfort. Stretching beyond the familiar, that limit, it builds mental and emotional resilience. You are growing on a resilient level when you're dealing with your emotions. It also builds mental resilience as well. Training yourself to handle fear. That's what it's all about. Confront fears gradually, like building a muscle through repetition. What I want to share with you is that consistency is a practice, discipline is a practice, hope is a practice. And there's no silver bullet for those things. You are a process. Life is a process. You are growing, shaping, and changing. You're part of that same process. So, guess what? Discomfort is also a process. It's not a finish line because you're inching gradually into discomfort. That's all I'm going to say for today. Have a great day. See you on the next episode.